Man, the Arca Menard series is a series that just keeps on giving drama this season for some reason. Yeah, a lot of people last weekend were talking about one Drew Dollar. You know, he seems like a nice young kid, but he's making a lot of big people mad, and they might just be justified. We're going to talk about now, is Drew Dollar really set up to be a race car driver? Should he consider a career in something else? Let's discuss this today after what Billy Venturini, his former car owner, had to say about him at Kansas Speedway. If you recall, he was involved in a wreck with Corey Heim, who was driving for Billy Venturini's team, and now Drew Dollar is no longer with that program. He's now with Kyle Busch Motorsports in their number 18 entry in the Arca Menard series, and you've seen him from time to time show up in the Xfinity Series on super speedways, and you've seen him in the past in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. But the stats so far kind of have spoken for themselves. He got into a crash with Corey Heim, and Billy Venturini, again, his former team owner, had this to say about him.
I know how David Gilliland feels. Like, Drew wrecks all your when he's driving for you, and then he wrecks it all when he's racing against you. So I can understand why he punched him in the eye over at Bristol last year. Just typical bonehead move by Drew. He's killed a couple of my cars here, and now he's killed one and wasn't even driving for it. I mean, just look at it. Just pure lack of talent. Great kid, does not need to be a race car driver. He's got a lot of other things he can probably do and make a good living.
As crazy as all that was, if you look at Drew Dollar's stats, I mean, it's not really supporting him in his favor. Let's head on over to Racing Reference and let's read some Racing Reference. As you know, that's what us NASCAR YouTubers do. We read Racing Reference, right? Hey, NASCAR Xfinity Series, he's made 2 starts this year. And if you recall, when he first started the year at Daytona, he made the 51 team of Jeremy Clements very mad, including the president of their sponsor, Steve Carnes. Steve Carnes was very vocal about the fact that he didn't believe that Drew Dollar should be racing. And Jeremy Clements, to a point, was very mad and very angry about him racing as well. And so far, his stats are 2 starts in the Xfinity Series with an average finish of 24.5 in Joe Gibbs equipment. So keep that in mind. For the Camping World Truck Series, Drew Dollar has made 8 starts in 2021, where he recorded only 1 top 10, and his average finish is 24.8. Again, driving Kyle Busch Motorsports equipment, which is the best in the series. Then we keep going down into his Arca Menard Series stats. He got 1 win back in 2020, which was overall probably his strongest year. He got that 1 victory, 4 top 5s, and 14 top 10s. His average finish that season was 8.8. He actually had a better average finish in 2019 of 6.5, but he only made 2 starts. And he had an average finish of 7.4 in 2021, but again, he only made 12 starts. And just overall, throughout the entire remainder of the stats available for him in the lower series, it's just not fully to where I think a talent should be before graduating from this level. And I think that's why he's still in the Arca Menard series. Now, Drew Dollar has an advantage that a lot of people might be angry about, but in this day and age, you really need this if you want to go farther in your NASCAR career. He has financial backing. Plain and simple, he has the money to go out and race. This is a sport where you need money to compete at the highest level. I can relate to a point. I would probably be pursuing a higher level of competitive bass fishing if I had the financial means to do so, but instead I'm still at the grassroots level of a co-angler in a major league fishing bass fishing league. So yeah, to a point, if you don't have the money, you're not going to go far. Drew Dollar has the money. His family comes from a great background with the Dollar Construction Company based out of Norcross, Georgia. His family is a big part of that company. They're the owners of it. So that's how they are financially able to, have funded his career up until this point, with the exception of a few sponsors that come on. I think Sunbelt Reynolds is one of his biggest partners, but I also have a feeling that connection comes from the Dollar family. Sunbelt Reynolds is huge in the world of construction rental equipment. So with a Dollar concrete construction company, you have to imagine that wouldn't be possible without the family behind him. And so even though we can back up his stats all we want to, he thought he would fire back 2 days later at Billy Venturini, and it kind of blew up in his face a little bit. He tweeted out, "Talk about a pure lack of talent. Guess it took this guy about 14 years to figure out he didn't need to be a race car driver." And he obviously posted a screenshot of Billy Venturini's Racing Reference stats as a driver, but I hate to tell you this, Drew. He's not that bad. 28 career top fives over 14 years, 75 top tens, and 1 victory. And he raced against some good talent back in his time of driving. So the ARCA Menard series was way different back from 1994 to 2007, the same time that Billy Venturini was driving himself. So, Drew, that's not a good argument to make. And it was clearly blown up in his face. For lack of better words, he did get ratioed. A lot of people was quote tweeting him. I included, but I was quote tweeting more for the drama alert side of it. But Billy Venturini fired back on his own Twitter, responding with, "Took you 2 days to come up with a reply? Who did you employ to give you this comeback?" So Billy Venturini obviously employed that more money can buy him a comeback in that sense. So, it's a weird situation, but it's drama that, is clearly a bridge that has been burned. I would never expect Drew Dollar to ever race again for Billy Venturini with what was said at Kansas Speedway by Billy Venturini after the crash of his car and, the Twitter interactions. That's a relationship I would never expect to come back if and when Drew Dollar is left without an opportunity. But for now, he does have that opportunity with Kyle Busch Motorsports. But to back up on Billy Venturini's, thoughts, what should Drew Dollar be doing? Should he be pursuing his talents, his time, and financial backing as a race car driver? Obviously, with the Dollar Concrete Construction Company, there is another avenue that he could travel down to pursue a career. He has a family-owned business that he could go to and probably make a great living with his family's company. But he wants to be a race car driver. And I get that. Everyone has their dreams. But if the talent isn't there, what can you really do? And again, I don't want to take this away from Drew Dollar because I'm reading his about page on his racing website, and I get it. It said at 15 years old, Drew's interest in racing was piqued, and he asked if he could test drive a legend car. His parents agreed as long as he earned an A in math. And with 2 weeks left in the term, at that time, he only had an 87%, which is a B grade. They thought that they were home free in a sense. But as fate would have it, Drew would ace his final that year and he would bump his grade up to a 91%. And his family kind of had to honor their side of the bargain. So he got the chance to test drive a Legends car. And from that point on, he was hooked on racing. And, now he's about 21 years old, nearly 22. He started racing in Bandoleros at Atlanta Motor Speedway in 2016. And then he moved up to Legends cars for about 2 years. And the Atlanta Legends car, community is really, really strong. I mean, I got a chance to see it kind of up close and firsthand when I was down at Atlanta Motor Speedway for, they had it on Saturday night after the Xfinity race. And then they also had it on Saturday when we were filming our special before the Atlanta Motor Speedway race. So he was around some good talent. We've seen a lot of other good drivers come out of that group. Chase Elliott being one for one hand. So that's a good group of talent to develop around. But the problem is now that we see him at this level, it's not really developing where a lot of people are impressed with. A lot of people just see him as a guy with daddy's money getting him up the ladder quicker. And we've seen this before. I was very vocal early on in my YouTube career doing this that, I felt like a guy like Greg Galding was kind of like that. And now he's developed slowly and maturely into a decent race car driver, but he had a lot of great opportunities that I felt, weren't taken advantage of because he was rushed up the ladder too much. And I don't want to see this happen again to Drew Dollar, but it looks like it is. It also says here that, Drew Dollar has other interests and he is studying for real estate finance at Texas Christian University. And hey, that's a good thing, man. As Billy said, looks like you might need to have that backup option. And, real estate has proven to be a good career path for a lot of guys that didn't make it long-term in NASCAR. Dylan Kwasniewski, for one hand, looked like a very promising star in NASCAR. Now he's working as a great career in real estate. So that might be good to have that in your background. And we've seen other good drivers. James Buescher, former Camping World Truck Series champion. He ended up going into real estate. So, Drew Dollar could make a great career in that path. And it might just be what he has to do. But, I'm not here to say what he should and shouldn't do. But when you got team owners that are saying you shouldn't be racing It's kind of telling right there. So for the time being, it might be smart for Drew Dollar to consider those other options. And, it looks like he is to a point because he is studying. He is putting his schooling first. So he is, continuing his education for that backup that might have to be there. We'll see. Time can only tell. Hopefully he could improve as a driver, but for many I've talked to in the sport, they don't see him lasting long. So let me know what you guys think down below. Should Drew Dollar continue as a race car driver? Should he consider another option as a career path? Leave your comments down below. Leave a like on today's video. If you're new to DannyBTalks, subscribe for more NASCAR and other motorsports content here on my channel. And until next time, hey, I hope you guys have a great day. Bye, guys. Hey race fans, thanks for watching this video from DannyBTalks. If you're new to my channel, please be sure to hit subscribe and click the notification bell so you never miss another video from my channel.